Hello, sports fans, and welcome to this first week of October's edition of the Eastland County Today Coaches Show. Before we get started with the coaches, let me give a quick shout out to my Texas Rangers. They are the American League West Division champions, and they will take on the Toronto Blue Jays Thursday evening in Toronto. Go Rangers. All right, let's get to this week's high school football action, shall we? This week saw the Cisco Lobos defeat the Henrietta Bearcats by 25 points for their second district win. The Eastland Mavericks moved their district record to 2-0 with a convincing 49-point victory over Cityview. Oh my Lanta! The Gorman Panthers scored 126 points in their victory over Oakwood Saturday evening. Wow! The Ranger Bulldogs enjoyed an open week, and the Rising Star Wildcats earned their third victory of the year with a 30-point win over Evant at their homecoming game. Let's see what the coaches had to say. The Cisco Lobos again defeated Henrietta 32-7. Friday evening, Zane Wright rushed 23 times for 147 yards. Taylor Massey was 6 of 6 passing for 126 yards. Let's see what Coach West has to say. All right, Coach West, thanks for your time this morning. Let's talk about Friday evening. You travel up north. We go to Henrietta, and what expected to be a good game, your defense kind of they just stopped their offense. I mean, they hardly could get anything going. You've seen the film, Coach. Give me your impression on how the Lobos played Friday evening.
Well, we stopped the big play. We contained the quarterback that was the offensive MVP last year, and we had some difficulty with him last year. We contained him very well. He had a few yards, but he never did get loose. And they had a turnover, too, that certainly helped. But for the most part, man, we flew around. We did our job. We didn't give up the big pass play and contain their speed for the most part. And, man, we were excited about how well we played and had very few mistakes mentally on both sides of the ball.
Taylor Massey had a good game. You can tell the senior leadership. You really can when he steps on the field. I believe he was 6 for 6 passing, and walking stick. Dwayne stepped up, made a couple of big plays. Tell us about the offense as well.
Dwayne did a great job. Had an interception too defensively, but he caught a big post play there when we needed it on the 3rd and long, and that was something I was pretty impressed with our offense as we got out of some of those 3rd and longs, whether it be a fairly good run by someone or a long pass, and we were 6 of 6, which is kind of getting back to where we need to be. That's where we've been the last few years. We would be near 100% completion rate. What we'd like to improve on is some of those be touchdowns. That's a little area that we're hurting at. Usually we're 2 touchdowns out of about an 8 for 10 day or a 10 out of 12 day. But that's an area we're going to attempt to improve in, and hopefully we'll see those statistics get a little better in the next few weeks.
All right, Coach, it's homecoming this week. You host Nakona this Friday evening. First, tell us a little bit about what you've seen from Nakona, how they may challenge the Lobos this Friday evening.
Nakona was an extremely young team last year, and this year they're pretty much the same team. They're with some more experience. Their quarterback has done a great job all year long. They do have a little speed that they didn't have last year, but up front they are much more improved than they were last year. I would not consider them a great football team, but certainly someone that would come into town and ruin a homecoming. We've got to prepare for these guys and do a great job of executing on Friday night to win.
And we talked a little bit about homecoming. Do you find homecoming activities to be maybe a little distracting at times?
Well, I'll just say this. Homecoming is a distraction to the immature football player. And the mature kids, and usually your leaders, look at this as just another game, and they put those activities behind them and perform on Friday night, and sometimes the immature ones don't get that accomplished.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach West. The Lobos will take on the Nakona Indians this Friday evening at Chesley Field in Cisco in their 3rd district game of the year. Kickoff is at 7:30. It is homecoming in Cisco. The Eastland Mavericks defeated the Cityview Mustangs 56-7 this past Friday evening in Cityview. Chris Martinez had another great game, rushing 12 times for 128 yards, and he scored 5 times. Think about it, 12 carries, 5 touchdowns. That's almost a touchdown every other carry. Josh Gosnell also had a great game. He passed for 177 yards with 3 touchdowns. Let's see what Coach Watkins has to say. All right, Coach Watkins, thanks for your time this morning. Good game Friday evening as you took care of business. Tell me a little bit about the game, what you saw. I know Martinez had a good game. Gosnell, we talked about, was able to spread the ball around. Tell me how your team played Friday evening.
Oh, I thought we came out fast like we have been, and we've talked for about a month now about finishing and continue to play for 48 minutes, and I felt like we did that again. And so that's a positive that we were able to build on, and we got to continue to grow in that area. We turned the ball over one time. Got to continue to eliminate our turnovers. We were able to force a couple turnovers, which is always huge for us. And so overall, I thought we went out and played hard and played well on the road for our first long road trip.
All right, it is a long way to City View. City View last year seemed to be able to compete with teams. They in fact, I believe they went to the playoffs. This year, you're able to handle them pretty easily, 56-7. Tell us about your offense and about the production that they were able to make on Friday evening.
Yeah, they, City View's a young football team this year, and maybe struggling a little bit right now. And we were able to come out, and like I said, we started fast. They tried to come out. They've been in a 4-3. They come out in a stack and completely change their defense, I guess, trying to change things up. And I was really proud of our offensive line up front, adjusting and communicating and getting everything figured out. And like I said, we went down and scored to open it up, and then defense did a good job getting off the field, and we're able to score again and got a couple stops on special teams, with turnovers in that. And so it just set us up with short fields, and we were able to produce off of that. Josh did a good job again spreading the ball out. I believe we had 7 different guys catch the ball. Chris did a good job, had 12 carries and scored on 5 of those. But it all starts up front, and I felt like we were able to dominating the trenches again this week.
Yeah, not bad when you touched the ball 12 times, and almost half those touches are touchdowns.
Yeah, that's good, and he does a good job making things happen, but like I said, there's a lot of guys around him that are helping him make those plays.
Yes, sir. All right, this Friday evening we have Jacksboro. Jacksboro is definitely a much improved team from last year, probably going to compete for first, second, third place in district. Tell us a little bit about what you see from the Tigers and how they're going to challenge you Friday evening.
Jacksboro's a very much improved football team. They're 2-0 in district, and like you said, they got a chance to do anything they want. Everything's still in their hands, and they're going to be fired up, excited to come in here and play. And we've got to come out and start fast again, and we got to take care of the football and play sound defense. They're a very well coached team. They have 6 or 7 starters back on defense, and they're going to load the box and try and make you do some things where you're not going to be able to just line up and run right at them unless you can do some things formationally or something like that. Their offensive line is very good. They come off the ball and are able. They're going to try and get movement just like we are, and they got a couple playmakers. Number 1, number 21, number 27. They got some guys that can make some plays, and so it's going to be a fun week to prepare. And we got to go out and play good on Friday night.
Thanks, Coach Watkins. The Mavericks will take on the Jacksboro Tigers this Friday evening at Maverick Stadium. Kickoff will be 7:30. It should be a good game. As I said earlier, Gorman and Oakwood played one whale of a game Saturday evening. They were 27 points shy of tying a Texas record for most combined points in a game. 27 points shy, combined points. They almost set a school record. Gorman did, of course, come away with the victory. Ismail Herrera had 19 carries, 307 yards, 10 touchdowns. He scored 10 times in the game. He also caught 2 passes for 60 yards. Ismail Herrera had one busy night Saturday evening. Let's see what Coach Williamson had to say. All right, Coach Williamson, thanks for your time this Monday morning. Boy, howdy, what a game you had Saturday night. 126 points. In fact, you, as we talked earlier, you said that you approached reaching a school record with those points. That sounds more like a basketball score than it does a football score. Tell us a little bit about how the boys played Saturday evening.
Going into the game, we knew it was going to be difficult to stop Oakwood just because of their speed, and Coach Kirkendall did a great job game planning. One of his star players didn't show up, but that gave the opportunity for one of their other kids to be able to step up, and young man did a great job. Defensively, you look at it and say that giving up 89 points to a team that there was no defense. Our defense played really well, trying to defend the spread. They had some key stops, key turnovers at times that we needed them. Offensively, what can I say? We put up 126 points. This is probably the highest scoring game. It is the highest scoring game that I've ever been a part of or even really seen, firsthand. Offensively, we moved the ball at will. We did stall out a couple times, believe it or not. But, extra point, we did well on extra point. I think we scored 18 touchdowns. We missed 6 of the extra points. Would like to have those back, but, we're getting better in that side of it. But Ishmael Herrera we'd call him Nino. Nino did a great job. Young man scored 10 touchdowns for us, and he was unstoppable, and the front three, they did a great job blocking for him, opening up the holes, and offensively we put up some points.
Just about everything clicked right. I know you talked a little bit about some penalties and this, that, and the other. Of course, that's just going to be part of the game. Yes. But that's pretty well a complete game when you can put up almost 130 points. Let's talk a little bit now. That's of course last week. We have a new focus this week. Tyler Faith Academy. You play them back at Mount Calm this Friday evening. You've seen Tyler. I guess you've seen some film, or you've talked to some coaches. What do you know about Tyler Faith, and how are they going to challenge you, your Panthers, this Friday evening?
Well, once again, we're facing another spread team, and we're getting better defending the spread. I don't know if you can say they're the caliber of the last 3 opponents we've seen, but film sometimes is deceiving, as far as the speed of the team. They do some things well. There are some things that we've got to get better at, and that's the first thing is defending the spread. And they're gonna put us up a challenge for us. We're looking forward to that challenge. We've last three opponents we faced, actually the last 4 opponents we faced, they've been spread. So, we've pretty much seen any kind of spread and every kind of spread that can be out there. We've seen it the last 4 weeks, and Coach Garrett and Coach Guthrie are going to have these guys defensively ready for it. On the offensive side of the ball, if we're going to click like we did this past Saturday night, I do not see them stopping us. Offensively. Just looking forward to another great game, and the hospitality of Coach Satcher over there at Mount Calm for having us over there. Hopefully prepared the next week for Stephenville Faith again.
Thanks, Coach Williamson. The Panthers will take on Tyler Faith Academy this Friday. They're going back to Mount Calm. Kickoff will be at 7:30. The Ranger Bulldogs enjoyed an open week this past week. It was time to heal for the Bulldogs. Let's see what Coach Ramsey has to say. All right, Coach Ramsey, thanks for taking time out of your Monday morning to spend with us here. Had an open bye week last week, able to rest some folks and maybe get a little extra practice. Tell me how you had some goals. We talked about tackling last week. Tell me how your extra week of practice went, your extra practice, your open week.
We was able to get healthier. There's no doubt about that, and that's kind of a key component. We had some kids out with concussions from the week before, and that allowed us to get those 2 guys back. So getting healthy was very important for us last week.
All right, and this week you've got Cross Plains The Cross Plains was victorious last week in their football game. You had the open week, so you've had a little bit of a chance to prepare for Cross Plains. What do you know about the Buffaloes, and how are they going to challenge the Bulldogs this Friday evening?
Yeah, they have great team speed. They run very well as a team. We may have the fastest player on the field, but when it comes to overall team speed, they're fast. Their quarterbacks, their running backs, their receivers. They got some kids that moved in from Gorman and Paint Creek, which was right down the road from them, and they're fast. They run good. So we're going to try to contain them. Offensively, we'd like to try to move the football and eat the clock up and control the ball game offensively, and try to keep their offense off the field.
Yes, sir. And let's talk about that offense for just a moment. Beatty's been doing a good job, quarterback, and you've had nice production from Wilkinson. You expect them to hopefully have a good week this week, getting a little extra time off.
Right. Yeah, those two guys are our workhorses. There's no doubt. Last week when we played Easton's JV, we didn't have Josh Horn, which is probably the fastest kid usually on the field. He's a pretty fast kid, and he was out with a concussion. He didn't get to play. So having him back and having him on the field is, gives us an opportunity to make big plays with him. So, those are the guys we're going to rely on.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Coach Ramsey. The Ranger Bulldogs open district play this week with a home game versus the Cross Plains Buffaloes. Kickoff is at 7:30. It is homecoming in Ranger. All right, our last stop this morning is in Rising Star. The Wildcats defeated the Evant Elks in their homecoming game this past Friday evening. Crispin Froese rushed 18 times for 156 yards and 1 touchdown. Tommy Gann caught 6 passes for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let's see what Coach Calloway has to say. All right, Coach Calloway, thanks for your time this morning. Rising Star had a big victory Friday evening against Evant. It was homecoming, and you pleased the homecoming crowd with a good win. Tell us a little bit about what you saw from the sideline Friday night and from the film, how the Wildcats performed Friday evening.
Well, we did a great job executing the game plan. I mean, we went into it defensively. We knew we could probably get some stops, and we did, and those were huge for our offense. Our offense was able to punch the ball in almost every possession. I think we had 2 or 3 empty possessions, but for the most part, we were able to line up and do some stuff we hadn't done all year. We lined up in a formation we hadn't run very much of all year. We've had it in our back pocket forever. And we went out the first possession, lined up in that formation, and were able to run the ball successfully. I think we ran for 297 yards and threw for 200. So pretty balanced attack, in my opinion. The kids did real well. All my kids executed well. We had great blocking, great effort in the runs, and were able to put points on the board. We were able to pull away late in the game. It's about a 10-point game at halftime, so it was kind of a nail biter at that point. But we knew if we could go out and get a couple scores and a stop, I knew we could pull away and blow the game open for ourselves, and we did, and were able to win by 30 and please the homecoming crowd and make the parade a little bit more of an enjoyable experience on Saturday, because I don't know how it would be if you lost on Friday and had to go to parade on Saturday. But it was a good thing for the kids, as a community. We had a good crowd out. Event played well. We were able to come out on top and do the things we needed to do to be successful.
I know you spoke early in the year about your consistency, being consistent both running and passing, and I'm sure you're pleased with the performance of the offense this past Friday.
I am. I was extremely pleased. We've been kind of putting offense on the back burner for a while. We've been working so much defense earlier in the season. Because the offense was in place, we just didn't really try to fine-tune anything. We were really working on stops and things like that. And the offense, we started to put more hours into that in our weeks leading into getting closer to district to make sure we're where we need to be. And it shows. I mean, the kids are really going out and executing. Consistency, we talked about that multiple times, and we've been real consistent in most facets of our game. The kids have really been consistent. And that's the biggest thing. I tell my kids, as long as you play at this level here, and you play at this level, you're going to be good. You can always play up, but do not ever drop your level down. And as long as we stay there, we're going to be successful. And it showed Friday night. We were able to stay that even keel. And in the end of the night, we were able to pull away and score 20 in the fourth and win that game by 30.
All right, Coach. Let's talk about this Friday. You travel to Zephyr to take on the Bulldogs. What do you know about Zephyr, and what do you expect? How do you expect them to challenge your Wildcats this Friday?
Well, they're going to challenge us with their size and their speed. They're going to be fast and they're big. Coach Williams does a good job over there with getting his kids in blocking. I mean, they do a great job blocking. We have to really learn to read off our keys and flow defensively. I think we're quicker in first step, but I think they're faster up and down. So it's going to be a challenge for us to get in front and make plays. Offensively, they really bring a lot of pressure. I've watched a little bit of their film, and it's going to be about us making good decisions at the right moment and not panicking. They're a good ball club. I mean, they're ranked, I think, top 15 in Division I. So they're going to be a good ball club for us to go up against as our last pre-district ball game. And it's going to be an interesting test for our kids to go over there and mindset of being on that turf over there in front of their crowd and play hard. It's just going to be interesting for our kids to get out there and do the things we need to do to be successful. And I believe our kids can compete, and that's what I want. I want 4 quarters of competition, win or lose. If we can play 4 quarters with that group, I think we're going to have a really good year leading in the district and throughout, hopefully, into the playoffs.
Great. Thanks, Coach Callaway. The Wildcats will face off against the Zephyr Bulldogs this Friday evening in Zephyr. Kickoff is 7:30. It will be the Wildcats' last non-district game of the year. Let's now talk about other Eastland County sports news, shall we? Cisco Wranglers played football this past Saturday, continuing their Southwest Junior College football conference schedule, and they failed to hold on to a late lead against the Blinn Buccaneers and fell to Blinn 31-27. The Wranglers had a 27-17 lead, a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter, but the Bucks scored 2 unanswered touchdowns for the victory. Richard Legault passed for 300 yards. Chris Gardner rushed for 50 yards, and Marcus Daggs caught for 126 yards. Also, in volleyball news, Eastland Lady Mavericks begin their district schedule this week with a home game versus the Jim Ned Lady Indians. In fact, that game is this evening, Tuesday night, October the 6th. The varsity begins at 6:30. This Saturday, they travel to Breckenridge for their second district game, and that begins at 10 a.m. After 2 district wins this past week, the Gorman Lady Panthers are right in the middle of their district standings with 4 wins and 3 losses. The Ranger Lady Bulldogs also won 2 district matches this past week, bringing their district record to 4 wins and 4 losses. They right now sit in 5th position with a key matchup with Poolville this Tuesday evening tonight. Ranger College and Cisco College will take on one another this evening at 6 o'clock in Ranger. It is the first of 2 meetings between our 2 county schools in volleyball. In Eastland County soccer news, the Lady Wranglers' next home game will be their last regular season home game. It will be against Tyler Junior College this Saturday at 3 o'clock. It should be a good game, so if you have nothing else to do, come on out to Cisco, enjoy some good soccer. Both men's and ladies Ranger College soccer teams will be on the road this Friday. They're going to go to Hillsboro to face off against the Hill College Rebels and Lady Rebels. It will be conference games for both men and ladies. For more details, summaries, and pictures of all the fall sports of Eastland County, please pick up an Eastland County Today newspaper at your local newsstand. This has been Stephen Forrester, sports editor for ECT. Make some wonderful memories this week. God bless you. Have a great week.